mama, can I pull up on you late night? I was down bad, heard the man, I get my weight right. Stack a little bread, cause for us I'm tryna make life. Never had love, can you tell me what it tastes like? Shit ain't go high playing, baby, I don't feel right. Tryna show you I'm the man, make you fucking realize you the one, but I was playing. Look you in your real life, telling you all my plans, right? Ain't telling no lies. 6th grade, shawty shot my heart with your gun. Feeling so paid, tryna show you I'm the one. And since then, baby, swear that I ain't been in love. So will you come and save me when I feel like giving up? Yeah, yeah. 6th grade, shot my heart with your gun.
Shot clock, Jokic comes up to set a screen. On the switch, Jokic has Schroeder on him. Davis looking to help. Shot clock at 4. Jokic has to put it up. Falling away, puts it up. Bang! Nikola Jokic knocks it down. His foot was on the line. A two-pointer. What a shot! As the 24-second clock expired. (109-104) with 2.5 to play. James up top, Schroeder. Reaves fires away, puts it in! Reaves with the answer, a three-pointer, and it's back to 2. Murray looking, floats to the Joker. Jokic inside, Gordon shot blocked, but a foul. Reaves got a piece of the arm, and Gordon will shoot 2. Comes up short on that one. Ball tip taken by LeBron James. 4-point Nuggets lead. Under 2 to play. James to Davis. Inside layup. A foul on Murray. 3 fouls on Murray. 2 free throws for Davis.
Same exact action. How do you handle it?
2 clutch free throws.
To me, it allows Davis and James to switch to high screen and roll.
Gordon into the hands of Jokic. Makes a pass, goes inside, pass deflected, and a whistle.
And the right call, Hachimura kicked the basketball, stealing it.
Al Murray with James on him. Back to Jokic, 4 on the shot clock. Jokic lost it, gets it back. 2 on the shot clock, has to throw up another. And a 24-second violation.
Foul called on Aaron Gordon.
To take a 3-0 lead. Lakers now trying to do it here in Game 4.
And the Nuggets looking to go 1-5 flat. Jamal Murray getting the switch that he can.
Murray looking, stumbles a bit. Davis on him. Murray on the drive, stumbles again. Lost the ball. Knocked out of bounds. Laker ball. But wait a minute, Josh Tibbin coming over to discuss it with Mark Davis. And they're going to change the call. Davis.
Like it was off Anthony Davis.
On the inbound, Jokic drives and puts it up and in. Nuggets up by 2. 30 for Jokic.
And you don't want to wait too long. You want to have the 2-for-1 situation here.
Here goes James, 5 on the 24 to Schroeder. Deflected out of bounds. Good hands from Caldwell Pope. They've got 3.6 remaining.
Knocking it down.
Reaves holds, looking, finds James. Takes a pass, falling away, baseline shot, side on the backboard, and a 24-second violation.
He traveled in the backcourt. There was no violation.
Here comes Caldwell Pope. Looked like players were confused there.
Lakers deciding not to foul.
3-second difference, shot clock, game clock. Murray against Schroeder. Murray backs in, turns, shoots. Won't go, rebound deflected, picked up by James, lost it. And a quick timeout, 4 seconds remaining.
Paying extreme attention to Austin Reaves as the inbounder.
Reaves holding, James comes out of the pack. James on the drive, goes inside, stop, shot blocked, gets it back. It's over, it's over. Denver makes history. The Nuggets are going to the NBA Finals for the first time in franchise history. What a crushing finish for the Lakers as the Denver Nuggets sit atop the West. Here in 2023, they're the new kings of the West. Let's see the play one more time to finish it up.
Excellent off this pin down and curl. Good reaction by Jamal Murray to attack the penetration, get his hands on it, and then Gordon comes with the recovery.
Great help there from Murray. You know, for years the Nuggets, they were a good offensive team, but they weren't good enough defensively. That's not the case this year. Murray, great help there. And then Gordon got a piece of it.
You know, a guy that had been challenged all series showed up in Game 4. Aaron Gordon, not only offensively but defensively, competing at a high level. Big-time effort and bounce back for Gordon.
What a special night for the Denver Nuggets franchise, and what a wonderful moment for the Nuggets fans. 47 years, and they're finally in the NBA Finals. This team, all season long, has been the best team in the West.
Competing at a high level. Big-time effort and bounce back for Gordon.
What a special night for the Denver Nuggets franchise, and what a wonderful moment for the Nuggets fans. 47 years, and they're finally in the NBA Finals. This team, all season long, has been the best team in the West, but it's official now as they win the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history. Let's go to Lisa.
Thank you, Mike. Nicola, take me through that final defensive stand. Everybody in the building knew it was going to LeBron.
Of course, I mean he had an amazing game. We couldn't stop him in the first half. We found a way to make him take a little bit tougher shots, but he's still one of the best that ever played this game. It was a kind of semi-ISO for him. He was going left. Jamal helped really good, and he didn't even take a shot. So it's a great collective team effort.
You guys were down 15 at the half. What turned around for you guys?
We don't give up. I'm saying this last 5 years. When we were bad, when we were good, we don't give up, and that's what happened today. They jumped on us the first half. They were better, aggressive. They were scoring easy. They didn't mess up basically, but the second half we turned up the page and everybody will step up. And I think it's a collective effort. It's not just one guy.
Thank you, Nicola. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mike.
And Lisa, that's what it's been all season long, and his unselfish play has led the way for this unselfish team. So well connected. And ABA merger, the other three all had reached the NBA Finals. The Nuggets had some great teams, some Hall of Fame players, but always came up short. Now again, in their 47th season, they are the kings of the West. So the NBA Finals for them will begin next Thursday, June 1st. And of course, they'll face the winner of the Heat and the Celtics. That series resumes tomorrow in Miami, and the Heat could
to an end for the Lakers. Here's James at the podium.
You went the full 48 series against Boston like 3 times in 12 and a couple others. Just wondered, was that something that you had decided before the game, and did, you know, being on the court that much, trying to find your legs that much, did that symbolize anything just about what this run has been like for you?
No, I mean, for me, it's just, just a mindset, and training the mind. If you train the mind, the body fall where it may, and take care of the rest. So, knowing coming into a game where I may have to play a full game, that's just my mindset, and wasn't able to come through. Ultimately get the win. That was just my mindset going into the night.
Dan.
LeBron, throughout the year, we've talked a bunch of times just about how long this season was. I think I've seen you yawn more than I've seen anybody yawn through the course of a season. But how did this group energize you as it got into the postseason and as you got a chance to get, one level away from the finals?
I think it energized me from the moment that I was out for those 4 weeks, and I was just seeing, the type of team that we had, the type of energy that we brought into the locker room, the type of energy we brought onto the floor. And I just couldn't wait to join these guys with action and get on the floor. And I knew how much I could make an impact with a group of guys. But it was always it was an exciting moment when we was able just to bring those guys into the locker room, we were just a better team right away. And it resulted in us getting to the Western Conference Finals.
Dave?
LeBron, the franchise goal, your goal personally, is championships in LA. This group got 8 wins away, which is close, but there's still, a way to go. How do you view moving on to next year, year 21 with the Lakers, and do you view contender status now, or there's upgrades to be made?
I haven't even thought about next year. I don't know.
All right, if I could stick to this year then. It was a 4-game series. Every game had winnable moments, and you guys certainly showed it. When you reflect on it, what were the margins, the edges that Denver ultimately was successful with?
It's just I think me and AD were just talking in the locker room for a little bit. I think we came to the consensus that, if not one of the best, probably the best team that we've played since we've been together for our 4 years. They're just well orchestrated, well put together. They have scoring, they have shooting, they have playmaking, they have smarts, they have length, they have depth. And one thing about their team, when you have a guy like Joker, who, as big as he is, but also as cerebral he is, you can't really make many mistakes versus a guy like that. And even when you guard him for one of the best possessions that you think you've guarded him, he puts the ball behind his head, Larry Bird style, and shoots it 50 feet in the air, and it goes in. I think he did it like 4 or 5 times this series. So you do like this to him. There it is.
LeBron, how do you, on an individual level, reflect on your season, your 38, your 20? A lot.
I really don't. It's not who I am. I guess I reflect on my career when I'm done. But I don't know. I'll let you guys talk about it. One thing that I only concern myself with is being available to my teammates, and I don't like the fact that I didn't play as many games as I would like because of injury. That's the only thing I care about, is being available to my teammates.
Jim?
LeBron, is there a sense of frustration because of what happened throughout the course of this particular series?
I mean, of course, that's human nature when you're a competitor. Obviously frustrated, not being able to, close out one of these games where you were in every game. 2 games in Denver, 2 games here. We were in every game. We were winning, about 15 and a half, and they hit us with a 36-point quarter. Took momentum of the game. We still have an opportunity, and just couldn't make plays down the stretch. So that's the frustrating part. But you tip your hat to them. Like I said, it's a great team.
Tim?
LeBron, you're watching SportsCenter as we cross midnight on the East Coast following the Lakers getting swept by the Nuggets. You're listening live to LeBron James, who tonight finished with 40 points.
Next year, potentially a championship roster. How do you balance the disappointment, but also the hope for next year?
I don't know. Like I said, I haven't begun to even think about next year. We had a great run, but we fell short of our goal, and our goal is to win championships. That's what this franchise is about, and we fell short of that. So that's disappointing.
Malika?
LeBron, I'm curious if you could walk us through the day starts with Carmelo Anthony, someone who you are very close with, and your contemporary announcing his retirement, and then you getting ready to play in a Western Conference Finals game as sort of the last man standing, if you will, from that class. What was that like for you?
Well, I kind of knew the announcement was going to happen because I shot the video a week ago that you guys seen today. So people probably think I'm lying about that too, huh? I shot that video like a week ago, so I already knew the announcement was coming. Just didn't know which day, but it happened today. And but it's still bittersweet. Obviously, that's one of my best friends. You know, when I got into this league, even before I got to this league, I mean, when we have so many moments when we were in high school, from competing against each other to, you know, sitting outside of a hotel room, you know, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning on the steps of a hotel, and just talking about our journey up until where we were 17. I was 16, he was 17, and what we could possibly do going forward, what we could possibly do for our mothers, what we could possibly do for our families if we just continue to stay focused. I believe we was a driving force for one another. We were locked at the hip since high school. And then you guys saw that once we got into the NBA. And he was always a motivating factor for me. I've been in the Western Conference. I was in the East. So I would play our games, you know, and then I would rush home to my rush home downtown Cleveland, where I had an apartment my first 2 years in the league, and rush and turn the Nuggets games on, you know, and watch Melo play. All the way to the point where we didn't make the playoffs my first year. I was in Denver for his first playoff game. You can look that up too, just in case you think I'm lying about that too. Definitely just a bittersweet moment today to see one of my great friends. I don't never like to say call it quits. I mean, just to say that, you know, it's an amazing run, an amazing accomplishment, an amazing career, and you know, we always will be joined at the hip no matter what.
LeBron, what, if anything, did Joker prove to you during the series?
Say it again?
What, if anything, did Joker prove to you during the series?
Nothing. I know how great he is. I know how great Joker is. There's certain guys in this league that play the game a certain way that I like to play the game as well, and he's one of them. Where you are always off balance when you're guarding a player like that because of his ability to score, rebound, shoot. He sees plays before they happen. There's not many guys in our league like that. So you already knew you was going against a beast once the series started. And not only just about his game, everybody gets cracked up into his stats, but I don't think a lot of people talk about like this part of his game. Well, maybe it's not talked about because a lot of people don't understand it, but I do. He's special.
Last three, we'll end with Chris, Tanya, and then we'll end with Melissa.
Chris Haynes, TNT. Brian, how confident you are with this roster going into next year as far as being able to say that you believe you guys will be back, and not just be back, go further?
Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not quite sure what the roster will look like next year. I think myself, AD, Max Christie. I think Vandal has a team option or player option, something like that. I don't know who else. I mean, the roster's not set. You know, obviously that's Rob in the front office. They're going to figure out the best way to put this team together going forward in the fall. But it's not like we have a team full of multi-year guys that's stuck in the contract right now. So I don't. We'll see.
Tanya?
There was a video making the rounds of you shooting before the game, a while before the game, and they were doing a rehearsal for the trophy presentation on the court. Did that motivate you at all, or annoy you, or did you have any reaction to that?
Yeah, it was a little motivating factor for me tonight.
Melissa, last question.
Hey, Bron. Obviously, all-time scoring record, another season where you essentially defeat Father Time again. On a personal level, how would you evaluate the season that you had?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I love to play the game. I love to compete. I love to be out there for my guys, my teammates, wherever I have that particular year. I think it was special in the fact that having a first-year coach and a first-year coaching staff to be able to take them to the Western Conference Finals. I think that's dope for Coach Ham and his coaching staff going forward. That's pretty amazing. For me, I mean, it's all about availability for me and keeping my mind sharp and things of that nature. Being present on the floor, being present, locker room and bus rides and plane rides, things of that nature. It's challenging. It's challenging, for sure. It was a very challenging season, for me, for our ball club. And obviously, we know we went on early on or whatever the case may be, but it was a pretty cool ride. But I don't know. I think it was okay. I don't like to say it's a successful year because I don't play for anything besides winning championships at this point in my career, and I don't get a kick out of making a conference appearance. I've done it a lot, and and it's not fun to me to not be able to be a part of getting to the finals, but we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. But I don't know. I got a lot to think about, to be honest. And just for me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, I got a lot to think about.
Mike, you want to start us off?
Austin, zooming out first, what do you feel like you learned throughout this season, throughout this playoff run, throughout games like tonight that you can try to apply moving forward in your career?
Man, I learned a lot. First and foremost, just never give up on the process. We're 2-10 at the first of the year. We had a lot of downs. Obviously, last 2 months, 3 months have been ups. But that's the first thing, is really just believing in yourself and what you have as a team, and that'll go a long way. And then other than that, it's really just how to be a pro, how to handle yourself on and off the court, and really just embrace, what we're doing. Like I've mentioned many times, we get to play basketball for a living, and, never taking that for granted, because, there's rough times. Obviously, right now sucks, but like I said, you can never, take any of this for granted. I was just in the Western Conference Finals. If you told me that when I was 15 years old, I'd have looked at you like I seen a ghost. So really a lot of lessons learned, and, hopefully I can, implement that to, my life and career and move forward.
Dan?
What would you say if I told you were going to be in the Western Conference Finals on February 1st of this year?
Was that the trade deadline?
That's before the trade deadline.
Oh. As a competitor, you never want to, not think that you can do something. You always got to have that. Regardless of circumstances, I think, even before trade deadline, there was always, if we could get, a couple things going, then we could have, made a run. But then you make trades and then bring in the guys that you brought in, and, their demeanors and skill set that, fit really well with what we had. And it just meshed. But, Western Conference Finals is something that I probably, before I made it to the NBA, never really thought I would accomplish.
Dave?
Austin, where do you think tonight turned for you, and what can you say about the Nuggets as an opponent as they move on to their first finals appearance in franchise history?
They're really good. They're nothing short of a really, really, really good basketball team. They don't have holes in their system. They don't have, they're not missing anything. You got two guys, you got Jamal and you got Jokic, and then you have literally, if you can hand pick a team as far as like system fit, you got a Cutter and Gordon, you got guys that can really shoot the ball, and then you got like not dirty players, but like do the dirty work stuff, and Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, and then you even go to their bench. It's really just a really good basketball team all in all. But they was the better team in the 4 games we played this series, and wish them nothing but the best.
Jovan.
Austin, as you look ahead to the offseason, is there something you're looking at in terms of what you want to work on with your game and an area of improvement or just continued growth?
Just a continued growth. Hopefully my golf swing gets better. I'll be in the gym as well, but no, just I love the game. I love working, Me and Phil spend a lot of time together. Me and Zach Gonzalez have spent a lot of time together in the gym, just getting better. And I'm open to anything. If you want to tell me I need to work on, dribbling, shooting, passing, defense, I'm open to anything. So it's really just a summer to, take care of my body first. This has been the most games I've played, my whole life in like a season form. So taking care of my body and really just getting back to work. I look to, improve in, every aspect.
Nikki.
Austin, I know you say as a competitor you always want to believe that you can accomplish anything, but throughout this playoff run, performing as consistently as you did you prove something to yourself that you might not have known you had in you?
Yeah. Like I said, I never really thought I would be in this position, or I probably believed it, but there's probably 2, maybe 3 people in the world thought that, I would be in this position and, contribute. And honestly, I'm just proud of myself. There's been a lot of times playing, basketball where I didn't think that I would, go to the next level. High school didn't have many offers. Got the opportunity to go to Wichita State and then move up to a higher, bigger program, and then didn't have much buzz coming out of college, so didn't know if I would be overseas or in the NBA. So to be on this stage and perform, it feels good, and I'm proud of myself.
Melissa.
Hey, Austin, obviously disappointment is an overwhelming feeling right now, but how much has this experience whetted your appetite to get back here and even get to the next stage?
A lot. I said it to Bron after, I think it was like game 3 or 4 of the Memphis series, and was just like, this is the most fun playing basketball I've had. Just a group of guys that we've had. The level that we've played at, and me being a competitor, obviously I want to get back to this stage and even further and, win a championship, because, I don't know, but I know that there's no better feeling than that. Just talking with Bron, AD, guys that's won championships, there's no better feeling than that. So hopefully one day I can, feel that.
Thanks, Austin.
Appreciate y'all.
LeBron's coming over next.
They're collecting trophies out there in LA by way of Denver, en route to trying to get the big one in the NBA Finals. So what makes this team special? Nikola Jokic will say it's the guys all around him who he's happy for. It's Jamal Murray. But who is going to get them to the big trophy? Our countdown crew says they're looking at him right there.
So on Monday night, the Nuggets accomplished 2 things they never had before, one of them much more important than the other. It was their first ever series sweep, which is nice. It's their first ever trip to the NBA Finals, which is obviously far more than that. Stephen A., how about the Nuggets?
Special team,
special superstar Nikola Jokic, no doubt about that. When he seems to be doing nothing, he walks away with triple-doubles. And they got a star in Jamal Murray, who, by the way, was anemic in the fourth quarter of this game. Had a great defensive play on LeBron at the end of the game because he had both hands on the ball. But outside of that, was making mistake after mistake in the fourth quarter. But prior to that, he's been nothing short of sensational this series. I'm looking at those two guys, and when I think of championships, those two have the ingredients that it takes to deliver the trophy. Of course, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope can do his thing. Aaron Gordon was effective in this game. Michael Porter Jr. can hit some shots. Bruce Brown could come off the bench and do some things. But it starts and ends with Jokic and Murray. If they play the way they're capable of playing, Denver's going to win the championship. If they don't, they won't.
You know, the playoffs started with people outside of basketball fanatics not really knowing about a few teams. Most notably, in whatever order you want to take them, Sacramento and Denver. And people just had not watched them, not paid close attention, except if you're a basketball fanatic. And now the Denver Nuggets have stayed with this long enough, getting through the Western Conference Finals and winning, where people know. And now I think you can be looking to see what you've got from Jokic and Murray. I mean, those two guys are elite NBA players. The question is if they win a championship. And by the way, we've seen Denver in some things. We've seen the Avalanche win. We've seen the Broncos win. It's not unprecedented that Colorado, comes forward and wins a championship. The Nuggets, though, have a chance to sort of change a lot of perceptions about them, about the region they play in, about who should be watching them. So it's going to be fun going forward.
And the Joker established that he's no fluke and he's the best player in basketball. And everybody need to recognize he can do it all. He can post. He makes people around him better. He rebounds. He's very intelligent, learning how to feed the hot guy. Oh, Caldwell-Pope made one. Let me look for him. Michael Porter Jr., let me find him. Aaron Gordon on the cut. Let me find him. And that's what he did, because a lot of people felt he wouldn't win his third straight MVP because maybe it was voter fatigue. I could tell he took that personal. And this is a clinic of how to build around a superstar and add pieces that accentuate his weaknesses, but also highlight his greatness.
They were the best team in the West, basically the entirety of the season. They were at the top of the conference from Christmas on, and now they will represent the conference in the NBA Finals beginning a week from Thursday.
So I want to get into that first. Let me say, probably LeBron's best game of these playoffs, his first half, just spectacular, showing off an assortment of ways to get to the basket, hit some threes, obviously a quieter second half, but the effort defensively down the stretch of that game, multiple stops on Jokic, a stop on Jamal Murray at the, forcing a shot clock violation, 2 charges on Nikola Jokic, just doing it on both ends of the floor, having 40, 10, and 9 in an elimination game. It's impressive. And the questions will be, does this enhance his legacy? Does it diminish his legacy? I don't really know how to answer that question, because in reality, I think LeBron's legacy, even if the Lakers had gone on to win a championship this season, I think his legacy is cemented. He's one of, in my opinion, the 2 greatest players ever. And I don't know that another championship is going to change that. I'll tell you what won't diminish his legacy, and that's taking this Lakers team to the conference finals. The reality is the Denver Nuggets were a better basketball team. They were a better basketball team, and they had the best player in the NBA right now in Nikola Jokic. And if you look at the Lakers, right, 2-10 to start the season, obviously the trades improve the roster, but then having to win a play-in game, having to beat the 2-seed Memphis Grizzlies, having to beat the defending champion Golden State Warriors, and then taking on the team that I think has played the best basketball in the Western Conference, and probably the best basketball along with the Miami Heat in the entire playoffs, the Denver Nuggets. Every single game in this series was a good game. There was no game 3 Boston Celtics getting blown out in Miami. The Lakers should be proud of what they were able to accomplish with this group. since the All-Star break, since the trade deadline, and in this playoff run. Darvin Ham, great adjustments game to game. I mean, think about this. Tristan Thompson tonight giving meaningful minutes in the fourth quarter. A dunk and one. A stop on Jokic. Keeping loose balls. Like, this group, the group, Austin Reaves' growth this year, Roy Hachimura having huge moments in the playoffs, Anthony Davis dominating games in the playoffs. Obviously not a good offensive game for him tonight outside of getting to the free throw line. But this group should be proud of this season. I know that LeBron is the competitor, as a winner. He doesn't want to hear that shit. He doesn't want to hear that right now, but that's just the truth. That's just the truth. On the Nuggets, a few things. Nikola Jokic just had his 8th postseason triple-double this postseason. Just phenomenal basketball player all around. I thought down the stretch, you saw Tristan Thompson on him. You saw, obviously, AD on him. You saw Hachimura on him. You saw LeBron James on him. His ability to score against size is very impressive. And he had a tough one on Anthony Davis to go up 113, 111 towards the end of a shot clock, drove by him, split Dennis Schroeder, and scored. The tough fall-away three off one leg, second time this series that he's done that over Anthony Davis. So just the shot making against really good defense. And then the other thing with the Nuggets, which I keep harping on, I haven't seen a team really find an answer to Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray in the two-man game. We talked about this morning on Old Man and the Three Things, from game 3, where down the stretch they're running inverted pick and rolls. Murray screening for Jokic. They score 3 times off of that. They run chase action where Jokic throws the pass and then goes and gets it from Murray. That's what Murray does with Jokic. It's dribble handoffs. It's pick and rolls. Those two just find a way, the intelligence level. And we saw that, they had a tough bucket down the stretch where Jamal Murray found Jokic in the pocket, scores over 2. Jokic finds Aaron Gordon on a slip pass where he's trying to get a rip screen on, or Jamal Murray's trying to get a rip screen on him. I just think the execution overall from the Denver Nuggets is excellent. And my question that I would pose to you guys, our viewers, our listeners, anyone who has watched the Eastern Conference, I don't know that the Miami Heat, I don't know that even the Boston Celtics, I don't think they're going to come back, but I don't know that they have the size for this Denver Nuggets team. Now, look, if it ends up being Miami, I'm not discrediting or doubting the Miami Heat and Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler and the team that they have right now, playing with a lot of confidence, a lot of toughness, all that stuff. The size thing worries me a little bit with the Miami Heat, because I ultimately think that's what it'll end up being. A couple guys I do want to shout out. Aaron Gordon, a supreme game from him. 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and then 2 huge stops down the stretch. Lakers call timeout with 3 or 4 seconds on the shot clock. They have it over in the corner. They get the ball to LeBron. They run a keep action. Gordon doesn't fall for the keep action. It's the old Draymond Green dribble like a dribble handoff. No, I'm going to keep it and go. He stays right with him, forces a tough one-legged fall away that hits the side of the backboard. And then, of course, the last stop, with some help from Jamal Murray, who came over and got his hands on the basketball as LeBron was going up. But I just thought overall Aaron Gordon was phenomenal. 3 threes as well. Hit a big one there in the fourth quarter. This Nuggets team is really good and really deep. It's not deep in the traditional sense of 9-10 guys, but deep in positional versatility, switchability, all that stuff, throwing bodies at different people. And if it ends up being the Miami Heat, they've got a lot of bodies to throw at Jimmy. Jimmy's excellent, and he's seen it all playoffs. He's seen it in multiple playoff runs now, where he's going to be guarded by a number of defenders, bigger defenders. Jimmy's so smart. He'll find the matchups if it ends up being the Miami Heat. But overall, just super impressed by the Denver Nuggets. And I do wonder, I guess that if it is the Miami Heat, because it's looking that way, I do wonder how Spoelstra is going to scheme for all of the Murray-Jokic two-man action, because they do it in so many different ways, as I mentioned. That probably will be the most fascinating part if it does end up being the Denver Nuggets and the Miami Heat. And the last thing I want to say before we go, all the stuff about ratings, I've seen a bunch of these takes on Twitter about the NBA wanting it to be Lakers-Celtics. The ratings are going to stink, blah, blah, blah. Let me ask you a question. Who has been the two best players in the NBA playoffs this season? To me, it's been Nikola Jokic and Jimmy Butler. Now, you may think otherwise. To me, that's who it's been. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say they're the two of the 3 or 4 best players in the playoffs. Our league is driven on superstars. When I think about the things I like about superstars, the qualities that I like, competitive stamina, love of the game, love of competition, rising to the moment. I think about Jimmy Butler. I think about Nikola Jokic. Getting those two to square off in an NBA Finals with the chance for both of them to win their first championship. Are you kidding me? How great is that? Eric Spoelstra versus Mike Malone, two guys that did an outstanding job in these playoffs of coaching and making adjustments. Like, come on, it's going to be great basketball. It's going to be great basketball if it ends up being Denver and Miami. Now, a lot to look forward to tomorrow with the Celtics and Heat. Let's see if the Celtics can answer and at least stay alive.
Obviously, it was a first half to dream about for the Lakers, especially when it came to that performance from LeBron James. The Nuggets did not lead this game until about 4.5 minutes to go in the third, and then in the fourth, just wild few final minutes.
We'll take you through it. Back on December 20th, the Nuggets got the top seed in the West. They never relinquished it the rest of the regular season and through the Western Conference playoffs. As Nicole mentioned, LeBron with 31 in the first half. Under 4 to go with more than 4.5 decades of misery for the Nuggets. They made a couple of key additions the last couple years. One of them was getting Aaron Gordon off the feed from the incomparable Nikola Jokic. And then, as I mentioned, LeBron played all but 4 seconds. Lakers back within 3. Jokic had another triple-double, his 8th of the postseason. Nobody's had more in a single playoff run, 30, 14, and 13. The fall-away one-legged 3 that'll go down in Denver sports history. Nuggets by 6. Austin Reaves had himself an incredible season. 17 on this night. He is going to have a bright future. Now, tied at 111. On a day where number 15 Carmelo Anthony retired for the Nuggets, the current number 15 burnishing his legend. Lakers with an opportunity. Half minute to go. LeBron, wild shot. No shot clock violation. Missing the baseline jumper. It's not called. Play continues. A little bit helter-skelter. On the other end, Jamal Murray's going to have the ball in his hands with about 15 seconds to go. Lakers could foul here. Opt not to. They're going to play D straight up. Murray, baseline. Backing in. No, off the mark. LeBron corrals it. Lakers call timeout. They'll have one last opportunity. Again, he played all but 4 seconds, did LeBron. And with 4 seconds left, you put it in LeBron's hands. And the team that had the best offense in the entire postseason comes up with a defensive stop when they need it. And for the first time in their 47-year history, the Denver Nuggets have won the Western Conference and are going to the NBA Finals, and they can party all night long because they're going to have 9 days off before Game 1 of the Finals. That is all ball clean. Murray, great effort with Gordon coming over for help. Nothing LeBron could do, and the Lakers season comes to an end, and the Nuggets move into uncharted territory. A little history lesson on Denver. They entered the NBA in the 76-77 season and will now, as I mentioned, make their first finals appearance. There are 3 active franchises with a longer streak than the 47-season drought for Denver. That's led by the Kings, who have gone 73 seasons in numerous cities since their lone finals appearance as the Rochester Royals in 1951. The Lakers, of course, are NBA royalty, 17-time NBA champions.
Yep. And we're going to dive into this game big time with Tim here in the next 90 minutes. But first of all, What are your initial thoughts, having watched the Nuggets do what they did in 4 games to the Lakers?
Denver's a more complete team. They had the best player in the series, and I thought ultimately they won the big moments. And this one tonight had 3 different games in one. It was the first half. Lakers doing whatever they wanted to offensively. LeBron very aggressive as a scorer. They get the big lead. Second game was the third quarter push by the Nuggets, where they cut that lead, and basically now you make this a one-quarter game. And in that one quarter, you've got Nikola Jokic to decide matters late with his shot making, with his post play, and then most importantly with his passing. So for me, it was fitting that it ended this way. The Nuggets clearly the better team, the deeper team, and ultimately had the best player that controlled the action for longer stretches in the series.
We're going to step aside here and take a quick break, but we're going to dive more into Jokic's game, and particularly the turning point in this one, and what makes his passing so special. That's coming up in just a little.
Days off. I want to ask you about Mike Malone. His first 3 years with the team, they missed the playoffs. This is his 8th year in Denver. You've seen how quickly they've jettisoned coaches this year in the NBA that have won the NBA Finals or been there. What does it say about the Nuggets organization that they stuck by a guy that wasn't at 100 on day one?
Well, not only did they stick by him, another key factor in that is that their best player never expressed any dissatisfaction with what was going on in Denver, right? And we know that ultimately is the death knell for a lot of coaches. If any front office person senses there's some sort of dissatisfaction or somebody's getting restless as a star player, they're going to make a change. That never happened in Denver. And you've got just the ultimate guy to coach. If you ask Mike Malone, and we're going to talk to him, you know, what makes him so special, it's the fact that he's just so malleable. Whatever it is that needs to be done, he's going to do. You don't have to do anything to assimilate to him. You just give him the basketball, let his IQ take over. So that makes it easier for a coach when your best player has that personality type and those sort of leadership skills to uplift everybody around him, and you don't get those, those uneven moments in the locker room that now start to make a front office question, is this the right guy? That never became the case with Mike Malone.
We've also seen the chemistry and the leadership with those guys in Jokic and Murray. He's gotten them to buy into the idea. We've heard it all series long. 6 more wins, 5 more wins. Now they're saying 4 more wins. How has he managed to do that?
Yeah, look, I think, and you're going to hear about more of this, to how they just felt like they were disrespected along the way. Whatever it takes, right? You're the number 1 seed in the West. I think you got a lot of love throughout the year. Whatever it takes, if that's what it takes, great. They felt like there were always people kind of looking for ways to not make them the favorite. There were better storylines. There were sexier combinations in the league with talent, particularly in the West. And yet here they were, just that team that went out, played both ends of the floor, and had great depth, and I think the best probably role acceptance in their starting lineup of any team in the NBA.
I think when we were watching the first half of this game, we were like, nope, LeBron's got this under control.
31.
He is not going out like this at home. And Jokic, after the first quarter, had 2 points. The Nuggets finally took the lead for the first time in the third quarter of this game. What was the turning point from your perspective?
Well, to me, the difference between the two teams is Denver can play with sustained pace for longer stretches without making mistakes and make you pay. And that's what turned this game, the third quarter pace. And I'm just going to show you one example of that. Lakers on an offensive possession. You see here, Denver's cut the lead all the way down. Now we got a tie game. And look, take a look at the effort play. It starts here. Aaron Gordon, he's tracking the basketball with his eyes, and he's going to run this ball down over here, despite the fact that Anthony Davis has great position under the rim. Aaron Gordon beats him to the ball, but it's what happens next. And this is what differentiates Denver. People want to tease Nikola Jokic all the time about not being a great athlete. Well, sometimes, effort is everything. And he's going to get out here and run the floor as a center and watch what this does to the defense. And Aaron Gordon's going to look up. He sees right away that he's got numbers and he's got guys running with him. And this is the pace I'm talking about. This should not be a fast break open shot at the other end based on the Lakers' balance defensively. But you see what happens. By Jokic running, he's going to run to the rim. Now you force mistakes made by the Lakers. They miscommunicated, and ultimately Michael Porter runs into a wide open 3 right here to give them their first lead on this jump shot.
Oh, the head coach of the Nuggets, Michael Malone. It's good to have you on. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's a surreal moment. First Western Conference championship in Nuggets history, and I could not be more proud to represent the Nuggets. Great players on our team, high character, and this is for all of our fans back in Denver. And we're not satisfied. I think that's one message that's coming out of our locker room right now. There wasn't a big celebration back there. We understand that we're heading to the NBA Finals, and we have 4 more games to try to win.
We've heard that messaging from you since game 1 of this series. It's been a bit of a countdown, and now we've heard you say now it's 4 more wins. How have you gotten this group of players to buy into that mentality?
Well, it started back in September and October. We went to San Diego for training camp, and our goal this year wasn't just to win the Western Conference championship. Our goal was to win the first finals championship in Nuggets history, and something that we talked about all season long. Middle of December, we wound up taking over first place in the West, held on throughout, and I think the Minnesota series, the Phoenix series, and now this Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, first sweep in Nuggets history as well. Our guys have believed along the whole journey that we've been on. But as I mentioned, our players are hungry. They're not satisfied, and they understand whether it's Miami or Boston, we have much more work to do.
Coach, we've all known for a while now how great Nikola Jokic is. Jamal Murray now healthy. We know what he was capable of. He's back to that level. Talk about the acquisitions that you have made here over the last couple of years to round out this team when you bring in an Aaron Gordon and a KCP and a Bruce Brown this year who was vital to your team. Just talk about that process and what you guys needed and the way you addressed it by rounding out this team and adding those players.
Well, I think it's a really important point. Nobody can win a championship by themselves, and we understand how great Nikola is, a two-time MVP, averaging a triple-double in these playoffs after 3 rounds, which is just insane. We know about Jamal's resurgence coming back from the ACL injury, but, Michael Porter coming back from an injury, just as important. And you mentioned the acquisition of a KCP. You mentioned the free agent signing of a Bruce Brown. You got to give a lot of credit to our front office. Calvin Booth took over for Tim Conley. I've had the pleasure and to work with tremendous front office people who have made sure we added the right players to the puzzle. And it's not just about talent. Talent is a given in this business. It's all about character and identifying guys that are going to buy into our system. Our best player is completely selfless, a huge part of our culture, and we have a lot of guys stepping up. This is not just on one player.
And, Coach, I want to quickly ask you about that best player, that selfless player, as you call it. This is a scary proposition for the rest of the league, but makes Denver fans giddy everywhere. At 28 years old, a triple-double machine, how much better can Nikola Jokic be?
Well, you know what? He challenges himself to get better every offseason. Like all the great players in the past. He never wants to come back as the same player. His IQ is off the charts. His greatest skill is to make everyone around him better. He steps up in big moments. He's a clutch player. But what I see, the main areas that he continues to grow in is his leadership and his voice. And when he takes over a huddle or he speaks up in a locker room or a film session, the impact is just tremendous on our entire group. And that's the area where I think Nikola's grown the most, getting comfortable with his voice and the leadership role that he has to have with this team because everybody listens to him, everybody loves him, and everybody respects him.
I know you're a student of history, your father's long career in the NBA. I know you know this is before your time. Carmelo Anthony retired today from the Nuggets wearing number 15, but I think it's safe to say the guy that's donning number 15 now is burnishing his legend in a way no one could have expected. 9 days off. Enjoy it tonight. We'll see you June 1 for the NBA Finals for the first time in Nuggets history.
Damn, little mama, can I pull up on you late night? I was down bad, heard the man, I'll get my weight right. Stack a little bread, cause for us, I'm trying to make life. Never had love, can you tell me what it tastes like? Shit ain't go high playing, baby, I don't feel right. Tryna show you I'm the man, make you fucking realize you the one, but I was playing. Look you in your real life, telling you all my plans, right? Ain't telling no lies. 6th grade, shawty, shot my heart with your gun. Feeling so paid, tryna show you I'm the one. And since then, baby, swear that I ain't been in love. So will you come and save me when I feel like giving up? Yeah, 6th grade,